Hi, friends. I'm Lauren.
And I'm Katie, and welcome to Okay, But Did You Know? A podcast where we talk about the TV and media that we love with a friend who's never seen it before.
Today we're recapping and chatting about Once Upon a Time, episode 319, A Curious Thing. This episode aired on April 27th, 2014. It was written by Eddie and Adam, our showrunners, and was directed by Ralph Hemmicker. Now, before we get into our recapping and chatting, and we all have thoughts about this one, let's go into a synopsis for A Curious Thing. In the Enchanted Forest. About to announce their pregnancy, Snow and Charming are visited by Belle, who intends to warn them of Zelina's plan to steal their baby. With the due date on the horizon, our heroes are desperate to find out how they can stop the witch and save themselves. On a tip from the Dark One, they visit Glinda, the Good Witch of the South, who tells them that light magic is Zelina's truest weakness. They need to get back to Emma, but the only way to do that is with the Dark Curse. They all agree that Snow will crush David's heart and cast the curse to get them back. But when Zelina throws a memory wipe into the mix, robbing them of their memories, Snow begs Regina to rip out her heart and split it between them, bringing him back. As the curse looms, Zelina gives herself and Rumple a potion to retain their memories, but Neil resurfaces and sends the potion to Hook to give to Emma. And in Storybrooke, as Zelina's plan comes closer, our heroes realize that they need to break the curse to get their memories back, and the key to that is Henry. After finding the storybook in Snow's closet, they rush to find Henry under attack by flying monkeys near the docks. Once his memories are returned, Zelina attacks, threatening Henry since Hook did not do as she asked and removed Emma's magic. They're able to get away for now, and Regina kisses Henry's forehead, their light magic breaking the curse and allowing the heroes to remember not only how to defeat Zelina, but how they got back to Storybrooke just in time for Snow to go into labor.
So yeah.
We got, I mean, here's the thing is, having a pregnant character having her be that pregnant, it's a little bit of Chekhov's gun in that, her going into labor is going to be a catalyst for like the climax of the season.
Yep.
Like, she's pregnant, there will be baby. That's how that works.
My first note is just, oh my, it's just LOL. It shouldn't be funny that she turned them into flying monkeys, but it is.
That part is always very ambiguous, and I still kind of can't figure out which way it is. Either they were flying monkeys that she glamored to look like Aurora and Philip, or she turned Aurora and Philip into flying monkeys, and I really don't know.
It was a choice.
I've really tried. I've tried so many times to figure that out, and I got nothing.
I think in my mind it was turning them into them.
Okay.
But I guess we don't see them come back from the flying monkey fiasco.
No, we'll see Aurora beginning of season 4.
I said that. I'm sorry. I'm just saying, like, I really just said flying monkey fiasco.
Uh-huh.
On a serious note. Okay.
Yeah.
There's just moments with this show that every time I say something, I'm just like, and my show's pretty weird too. I don't have an answer to why it's like this.
No, this is our shows are weird. They make us say weird things, but to differing degrees. Yep. Like Bob's is more about like, weird chaos that they're getting. Like next episode, we're going to be talking about cat commercial auditions and all of that stuff. And it's going to be, it's people eating cat food. It's going to be great. And then in this one, we have
Flying Monkey
Fiasco, and Captain Hook is trying to save the grandson of Snow White and Prince Charming, and someone's aunt is the Wicked Witch of the West, and it's the whole thing.
It's a lot, but just I need them to let Regina be happy. Please let her stay happy for a little while, because seeing her, like, I see your face, seeing her so happy with Robin, and then of course, like, I sobbed through this freaking episode. I didn't know I was gonna cry. I didn't know it was a crying day. Once Upon a Time decided it was.
Once you texted me, like, why am I sobbing? And so was it when Henry first woke up, or when they broke the curse?
When he called her mom, like the moment he recognized her.
Okay.
Tears flowing. Gotcha. That started, and then they go through the whole thing, and then when she does kiss him, and that happens, I'm just sitting here, just like, I'm gonna hold on to this for as long as humanly possible, because I know I don't get to keep whatever happy moments I have when it comes to Regina. They never last.
Regina and Henry is pretty much solid at this point.
Thank goodness.
That's all I'm saying.
God damn it.
I
I
do
saw
love
your face.
I do enjoy though, Regina, if I didn't know any better, I'd say you look smitten. If I didn't know any better, I'd say Haagen-Dazs is smitten with your stomach.
God, I love her.
There's so many good quippy one-liners. Like the B plot of this episode is just Regina being snarky at everybody. Like you kind of have the beginning of the enemies to lovers arc with just Regina and Robin
Yeah.
bickering the entire time. There's so many of them that I would have assumed these were written by Jane Espenson, but I refuse to believe that why do women keep their shoeboxes? Because after true love, there is no more powerful magic than footwear. It has to be protected. I refuse to believe that a man wrote that.
Yeah, no, a man did not write that.
That had to have been one of the women in the writer's room throwing that in because it's perfect and it feels like a Jane Espenson joke.
Feels like
It just
Snow White joke.
It feels like one. It's so good though.
It's so good. It fits her character really well.
Exactly.
Like that's because sometimes they have characters say things. I'm like, that's a great line on a different person.
Yes, but that one, because after true love, there is no more powerful magic than footwear. It has to be protected, is such a good line. I say as I'm staring at a slew of shoeboxes in front of me.
I don't have many shoe boxes. So Steven used to get the subscription box from Amazon that was
Okay.
the Marvel Funko box.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've got all these weird themed boxes. Deadpool, Thor, they're all Marvel, and they just have random one of those boxes is full of seeds.
Okay.
Another is full of an old Bob's Burgers day calendar that I still need to turn into things. You don't get all that, lovely Bob's Burgers art and throw it away. You turn it into something.
Exactly.
I wrote, is it really breaking in if you walk through the front door?
I mean,
they didn't just walk through the front door.
Yes, they had to disassemble a thing. That arrow almost took off my head, and that door almost took off your arm. Where I come from, a simple thank you would suffice. Where you come from, people bathe in the river and use pine cones for money. That line, weirdly enough, right? And it's not trending. I did check the sound that I keep seeing that under. Only has about 670 videos, but it's the fact that I and not even just right now because my phone can hear things. I've been hearing that sound on and off for weeks, but that's the sound that I texted you about before that I saw at TikTok that my feed has just gotten way too niche in that it was a Hetty from Ghosts cosplayer lip syncing to a Regina sound. And I'm like, this is too much. I think
very, very niche.
It's very niche, very specific to me, but I've seen that sound a lot before. Actually, I did a lip sync on our TikTok with that one because why not?
Please, always. I got really excited for Glinda.
How'd that go for you?
Just Glinda, and then I was like really disappointed. I was like, "Oh,
you'll see her next week.
This is it? Like I want to see more of Glinda.
You'll get more of her next week."
So one aspect I really, really enjoyed in this episode is that it does depend. So much of it depends on Henry's belief of everything, and all I could say, I felt like pride at one point because, of course, at one point I'm yelling, "Emma, you dumb bitch! You can't keep Henry in the dark." Only for the only thing to help everything for them is to to bring him to the light, so to speak. And it made me really, really, really fucking happy because I've been so mad at Emma for constantly but we had such a good life in New York. There is no going back.
No, there is none.
You're literally about to have a younger sibling and you're like, all right, I'm going to peace out and take the uncle elsewhere. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, it's and also, but so when they're looking for the book and the fact that Emma doesn't want to find it, so she doesn't. I love that because that's the thing.
Yeah.
The book is magic is the best way I can describe it. The book is magic, but the way that she says to Snow, like, no, our lives were really good, like they were great in New York, and she went, it's because you forgot about us, kind of thing. Like it's a little Jewish mom guilt. But Snow's not wrong. Their life was great because they thought they had no family. You can't go back to that. There is no going back to that when you have your memories back.
Because then they're there. And then, because at this point, now that he's got his memories back, is she really going to seprate him and Regina? Like, you can't do that.
She can't. I mean,
so it made me so, so, so happy watching, of course, Henry get his memories back and Regina, having that healing experience and getting Henry back. But just by kind of like, haha, fuck you, Emma. It's happening anyways. What needs to happen is happening. You can't take him away. And I really gotta, I have a weird relationship with Emma.
Yeah.
Like, she's not my favorite character in the slightest. And she just pisses me off half the time. But then her dad opens his mouth. And, everything goes out the window when he starts talking. So,
Yeah.
it's a fun show. We're having a fun time.
Yeah, no,
I
I think
love,
that
yeah.
the interesting relationship with Emma from our perspective is makes a lot of sense because I feel kind of the same way. Like I say, I call her the dysfunctional paragon because she ends up bringing like the worst in everyone around her. But it's a disconnect of, like I always say, it's she's saying she's doing things for the best when ultimately what she's doing is what's best for her.
She's kind of selfish.
It is selfish, and she's justifying it by saying it's the best for everyone. Right now, she's saying this is the best thing for Henry, but is it? It's not. She's drinking her own Kool-Aid.
She never want to do.
No.
I love Regina not being able to go through the door. That was wonderful because she's so annoyed with it and just
but she's just sitting. She ends up just sitting there on a rock waiting.
And then so the necklace is like, because the Glinda's wearing technically the same necklace, but of course I can't say alphabet. It's so weird. It's Selena. It's so weird. And so I did notice that immediately, but then of course they start talking about a necklace. I was like, okay, there's another one. We didn't take this one and turn it green. So, because you never know, because they're the exact same.
Yeah, but Selena's wearing the green one in the Enchanted Forest also.
Exactly. So, like, I've seen the green one, but so, but then they start talking about that. I did like the reveal of them, like, well, we have to go back. We have to do the curse. But then the curse. Okay, I'm going to be honest. I don't know how to feel about Charming and Snow sharing a heart. How the fuck does that work? Especially when they go to the land without magic. How does it continue? I'm so confused.
Well, okay, so Storybrooke, for here on out, Storybrooke, while it is in land without magic, it continues to be that pocket of space from season 2 that has magic. So there's that aspect to it. As far as I know, I don't think we ever see Charming out of Storybrooke, like in that, like on that plane of existence. I don't think so. So that's not as much of a concern. It's not that it's not shoddy worldbuilding. I think honestly, I think I wrote this down in a somewhat coherent way. Yes, the heart splitting thing to me makes sense, and like I kept saying about a lot of things in this episode because this is the episode that pulls everything together before the climax that is next week of Snow giving birth, time travel spell, stopping all the bad things to happen. So this one is a lot of like tying up those loose ends of the flashback so we can kind of move forward. And it's because it works for me. It works, and I can't fully explain why I said true love is the most powerful magic, and thus a heart connected via true love can sustain both lives. But this does also mean that they've essentially killed Charming twice.
The show is okay.
They just keep wanting to kill him off. But but also it definitely makes that moment for Regina more heartbreaking. I mean, I know this is an aspect of world building that they're introducing a year, 2 years later, so it's not something that she would have even thought of, because there's something really powerful when she talks to Snow for her character development, where her instinct is to say, if you're wrong, you'll die. Her first thought is to keep Snow alive, which is new for her. So like that's very powerful for her character growth. But having her do this and see it work is her kind of realizing that she could have saved Daniel. Because
see, I was already confused, and then you made it more emotional, and I didn't want more Regina trauma.
No, I know there's more Regina trauma because if it truly is that simple of true love, the issue, and that does work again with the fact that the heart that Frankenstein uses is a random person's heart, and it creates this kind of monstrous effect. It's again similar almost to everything kind of is all similar to something else.
Yeah.
Because I'm now realizing, because if we do like the Frankenstein heart that made him kind of weird and monstrous and unclear, almost kind of like Zombie J from the Christmas episode of Ghosts, that kind of
so
thing.
Good.
I hate zombies. That was perfect. But it's kind of like that. But then you have the Rumple Neil situation when they're two minds in one body, kind of creating some disconnect of mental health. Basically, it's that kind of thing of there's two souls almost fighting in that body. But if true love, he says we are of one heart. True. I mean, I don't like that ideology that like you have like one. There's one other person that together you make one whole being. I'm not the biggest fan of that theory when it comes to love, but this is a fantasy show. So we're going to push past that. But it does mean that had she thought of that, in theory, splitting her heart and sharing it with Daniel when he was revived probably would have worked.
God damn.
And at that point, when she does it, she's still anxious. She hasn't given in to the feelings for Robin yet. So she's not even thinking about that yet. But yeah.
Well, didn't know I needed that information, but here we are.
I mean, this is my interpretation of it, but that I see a little bit of that behind her.
But like, it makes sense, and that's the problem. Is it makes sense, so my brain's latched onto it, and that must be canon in my head now.
Mm-hmm. It's now canon that Regina's realizing she could have saved Daniel.
Damn,
because she did preserve his body. So like, because so this will be a thing in season 5. I will not delve too far into it, but the fact that Charming's body is recently vacated is why it works. His body has not begun to decompose.
Huh.
So if Daniel being preserved, no decomposition would have worked. Mm-hmm.
So Neil popped up again. I don't know what to say.
I wrote Deus Ex Neil.
Oh God. Oh my God. I mean, I find it interesting. I love that he immediately was like, I'm sending this to Hook.
Mm-hmm.
Because he knew that was the one person that would definitely get shit done in this situation.
Yep. You tell a dove to find Captain Hook that it'll work. It's totally
that's totally gonna work.
Yep. We love this for these characters.
The birds just really love Hook, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so those are my thoughts. I didn't have a ton because it's one of those episodes you're so engrossed in it because so much is happening that you're just kind of sitting there like, oh wait, I'm supposed to be saying something as I'm doing this.
Yeah.
So it was definitely like that. But so much happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very, very excited for the next one because unlike the first arc, as we have said, this has not felt like it's been dragging whatsoever. It's been so enjoyable that I'm like, wait, there's only 3 more left. I want more.
Yep.
And that's hard to say after the Peter Pan story arc. So I'm impressed and I'm happy, and I hope that the show continues like this though, where I'm like, oh wait, this is we're already nearing the end of this arc. I don't want to end it. So this is I like it. I like it a lot.
I'm glad that I told you 3B was going to be worth it because it's just so much
better.
It's so much more interesting to watch. Zelina's a more compelling villain in general.
Yep.
And again, I think I know we say a lot of times that like things don't need to be spoon-fed, but sometimes you just need context.
Mm-hmm.
That's really the key thing is we had no context for Pan and
for too long.
And like I said, we didn't get the whole picture of Zelina's plan until 318, but like from the beginning, you get a good idea that what she wants is to get back at Regina for something, and then in 316, you find out her backstory, which gives you enough context to just kind of keep going, and then 318 is here's the rest of it.
Like it's been enough across the board that you're just kind of like, okay, these things are making sense. If they had gone back earlier, if they had started earlier with the Peter Pan stuff, one, the amount of Neil's like jokes for Neil of like evil Peter Pan grandpa would have been fucking hilarious, and great grandpa. Like, there's so many things that could have happened there that I think would have been really, really funny and kept some of it more lighthearted than because that first arc was really dark. But they've had a lot of funny moments in this second half, I feel.
Yeah, I think this one they lean more into a better balance of humor and leaning into the absurdity of their own show. Yes,
and I enjoy that far more. It's more enjoyable to watch if they're able. It's like if they're able to make fun of themselves in the moment, because the whole thing of like it's Robin Hood, like it's just too fucking cute of Henry being like, my mom's dating Robin Hood. Like I love that.
And Regina knows because she goes, his name is Robin Hood. Like she's aware of how weird it is, especially after that line of Robin Hood, Tinkerbell, Robin Hood.
Exactly. But like in the first half, it's just like Peter Pan is evil, Peter Pan, and I'm like, y'all, we got characters like, you know, Smee and Tinkerbell and just all these characters in Peter Pan that we could really be making more jokes with and more lighthearted. And if we had known sooner that he was Grandpa Peter Pan, it would have been even funnier. But like they didn't do that. They were so serious in the first half of this season that I'm really, really happy because I'm like, if you're leaning into Wicked Witch of the West, yeah, maybe you do need to go a little bit more absurd with
Yeah.
the way that you write things. So, yeah,
Yeah, the next arc is Frozen and the Snow Queen, which lends itself to a lot of jokes. They make a lot of ice cream puns. Uh
I'm looking forward to this.
and like when you have Elizabeth Lael plays Anna, and she just looks like the animated cartoon. Like truthfully, like in
Ooh,
costume, she looks like she could be a face character in Disney World. It's amazing.
wow.
But she's so good at what makes that character so endearing, which is kind of like the goofiness, the clumsiness, but like the heart of the like she just does
Hmm.
so well. And like it's things they're not super serious because they do kind of make fun of themselves. But I think more so than like I'm not okay with Pan's reveal of being Rumple's father being all the way to the end. That I think you can keep all the way to the end if
Yeah,
we ever get an inkling as to what he's actually after. I think that's the problem
yeah,
is we don't find out until we get both the reveal of him being
like
Rumple's
his
father
goal.
and his what the plan actually is. We don't get any inkling towards that the entire time. The entire time we're told that he wants Henry to, to save magic. And like we know as viewers that that's not what he's after.
Yeah,
So we're just like, just tell us, like, or at least just give us a hint as to what it actually could be. And we get none of that. So I think that's a little bit of why that arc is so frustrating and so serious because we spend the whole time going, what the fuck does he want?
yeah, the whole time. But at least with this one, from the get go, you're just like evil character. We're good.
Exactly. Like from the beginning, Zelina says, I'm going to take everything away from you. Like immediately, that's what she's after. Cool. We don't know how she's going to do it, but we know that's what she wants.
Going
And
time travel is a choice, but
I mean, yes, going back in time to kill Snow's mother so that Cora doesn't give her up and then marries Leopold instead is an option. I don't know if that's the option I would go with, but she's got some issues to deal
just
with.
a little bit.
Just a few issues, just a little bit. So I did not have a ton of fun facts from this episode. The Wiki was not, again, mostly like most of the fun facts were like this is like the costumes and the wardrobe. I'm like, I don't care about that.
Apparently, I had plenty to say, so it's good.
Yeah, we had plenty of thoughts here. The title, A Curious Thing, is an homage to the Huey Lewis and the News song, The Power of Love, from Back to the Future, which keep that in the back of your mind.
Oh, okay.
Which opens with the lyric, The power of love is a curious thing.
Yes.
So that's where that one comes to be. So keep Back to the Future in the back of your mind.
Oh, joy.
I mean, you already know there's time travel happening, so.
I know. I'm like, is Doc showing up or something? Like, I didn't know we were taking the not. Why is that the word that the DeLorean? The word Mandalorian went into my head instead
No,
of
I know.
DeLorean. What?
There's just, I will give you this little teaser from the finale. There is someone who says the line, Marty McWho?
Oh my god.
That's
Okay,
all I'm saying.
I'm so excited. I won't see that till 2025.
Oh, is that when we're? Oh yeah, yeah. I was like, oh, is that when we're recording this? Oh yeah, that's because that's how
We only
time
have
works.
we only have like a week left in the year.
This is true. The weekend, the year ends next week. That's again
Yeah.
for
We're
lovely
literally
context.
recording on the last day of the year.
Yeah, we are. Well, not today. So this episode comes out. You all, if you're listening to this,
No, we're
the day it
recording on
comes out.
Christmas Eve.
Yeah, if you listen to this the day it comes out, it's currently March 17th. For us, it is Christmas Eve.
We're having so much fun.
We are. This is the best way to spend my Christmas.
Honestly.
I mean, I'm not doing anything. I'm Jewish. What do I care? I'm going to see Wicked tomorrow again for the second time.
I'm pagan, but I have family that's Christmas people.
Yeah. So while in the dark forest, this is again, I put this on, I don't know, maybe props people, I don't know. When they're on their way to the portal to see Glinda and they're picking flowers and Regina just like stares at them like, what are you doing? And she goes, snowbells. I don't care if they're dancing daffodils. That's actually a snowdrop, that
Yes.
flower. It is not a snowbell, different flower. And then the Dark Forest actually, as a location, was on the map that Maurice had in the beginning of Skin Deep 112.
Ooh.
So which we've heard the Dark Forest before. I think we've also heard the Infinite Forest. We've heard the same areas kind of being called the same thing. And then my last fun fact, which I like this little piece of continuity. We do occasionally have these. Among the shoeboxes that they pull out of Snow's closet is a shoebox for the Pure Beck shoe store, which is a business that they have. It's not what the actual store is, but it's one of the signs that they put up for one of the businesses located across the street from Granny's.
Oh, cool.
I like that little bit of stuff.
I like that. We get less of continuity, I've noticed. than we do in Bob's here.
Well, 'cause I feel with Bob's, and I say this all the time, it's easier for them to pay attention to it because once you put something into an animated
Yeah.
frame, you can keep it there. This is a case of they have to. Well, what's funny is so in a behind the scenes feature for the end of season 4, which we can watch it whenever, but it's hilarious. It's Ginny and Josh walking around the set of Once Upon a Time and very chaos ensues. But at one point they're showing us the set that is Mary Margaret's apartment, and they say, oh, we've never actually seen anything. Nothing's been filmed inside Mary Margaret's bathroom, which is untrue. In Quiet Minds, we very briefly see the inside of the bathroom because that's where they thought Zelena was hiding.
Oh, we did.
The actors got it wrong.
That's actually really funny.
But I mean, it's not like a scene was filmed in the bathroom because, quite frankly, why would you need that? I say is usually we will have bathroom things to talk about in a Bob's episode this week. But
so I say, seen lots of bathroom stuff before.
Yeah, so a lot of fanfic stuff happens in bathrooms, but that's a different thing.
That's a different story.
It is. But I wrote down so many notes in this, so many notes and so many lines from this episode. Like I said before, I've said a couple of them already, but I love the Rumple's alive, Neil's dead. I think so. To which? Both?
Yeah.
Which is true. She has no idea. And then, I'm about to give birth, and an evil sorceress is threatening the future of my child. To be fair, the first time I was threatening you. Everyone else just became collateral damage. Remind me again why we forgave her? Because I'm helping.
I love her.
Like, Regina and Grumpy banter is always funny. Because there's a line from season 4 again that, like, they're trying to do something, and she says, like, no, the curse will be here before you munchkins finish. Dwarves, sister, like I care.
I love her so much.
She's just so sassy all the time, and it's the best. What's that supposed to be? Well, it appears to be a door. Like, the sibling dynamic between Regina and Charming specifically, I feel like. I mean, you see a lot of, like, very, like, caring familial stuff between Regina and Snow, but, like, so much is just... it's the animosity that you see between Regina and David specifically, because she just has no patience for him whatsoever. Because, like, just knowing, like, especially how the two of them were on set, the two, like, Josh was always very much a jokester kind of person, trying to get everyone to laugh and everything. Like, this episode, I could see a bunch of different bloopers in my head, because, and a lot of them are of Josh. But, like, it makes the relationship just so much funnier, because, like, it really is like a sibling dynamic. So, funnily enough, the whole Glinda thing, she's the Good Witch of the South.
Mm-hmm.
But in The Wizard of Oz, she's the Witch of the North.
It's Disney. They do it. It's Once Upon a Time. They do what they want.
Yeah, that part I was like, I get that, like, but because here's the thing is, like, it always brings back to mind. There's a line from James and the Giant Peach when, like, have you seen that movie?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure. I don't. That one is always a toss up as to whether or not people have seen it.
I kind of a Tim Burton fan. I was more obsessed than I used to be more obsessed than I am now. Now I'm just like, okay, Tim Burton. It used to be like I was a Tim Burton kid. I needed to see it.
Gotcha. I just wanted to make sure because with people that I know, with people around here, it's always a toss up. So with that one, there's a line when they fall asleep and, like, they end up in, like, the Arctic Circle by accident. There's a line is like, we are somewhere very far north, or contrarily, very, very far south. Like, people forget that, like, you can do the same thing. I get that they did the thing of she's the witch of the south, but she's banished north because snow. But, like, you could have flipped it and kept it. I don't know. That was a personal thing of, like, this didn't feel a necessary thing to change.
Yeah.
In my opinion. But this is me being me. When she says we were friends long ago, and then I just continued on with, I mean, I did know her at school. Oh, hallowed halls and vine draped walls.
Like, in my brain, whenever she said that and I had that scene, that the same thing really went into my mind of just like, it's really probably not that easy to write too many different ways of knowing that the two witches knowing each other, and it's just how close it all is.
Mm-hmm. And, like, having them be friends in the past, it's a trope more than anything else. So like the fact that they also used it, it's a different, obviously, than they were not friends at school. That's not how this works. We'll see
Yeah.
how their relationship works in the next episode.
I don't think the University of Shiz is in Once Upon a Time.
No, it's not. That one is copyrighted, I believe, to Gregory Maguire.
Yes.
So some things you can't still use. But yeah, so that was like Glinda. Like she's a good donor figure. She's there to help them with the prophecy, and we'll see.
Mhm.
Obviously, we'll get more of her next week. But she's another one of those one-off characters that people did write as her in the RP fandom. Like she stuck for enough people, but she's really only in 2 episodes.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure we never see, like, we'll see Oz again. Like we're gonna keep seeing Oz and other flashbacks and other events and stuff.
Mhm.
But after this season, yeah, we don't see Glinda or Walsh ever again.
It's interesting.
Yeah. And this is, like, I say this all the time with the show, like they bring in a lot of characters that are, either somewhat or very tied to their source material, much like, with Glinda, especially, like without Zelena, you don't have her. So,
Mhm.
but like Glinda and Walsh, like they drop in these characters that sometimes get used, sometimes they stick around, and sometimes they don't. Like, are we gonna see Tink at all the rest of the season? I don't remember if she might be in one of the finale episodes,
Okay.
but Tink is pretty much gone. After this season, you'll see her in one episode in season 6, and then that's it.
Yeah, but isn't it about time that she got picked up for other things?
No, iZombie starts in 2015, so we have another year for that.
What did she do between that?
I don't know.
Probably
But yeah, that one
she's
doesn't.
done a lot of guest starring and things too.
She does, and like that one, maybe it started filming at the same time because I think it didn't premiere
Yeah.
until 2015. I just don't remember exactly when in 2015 it started premiering.
Okay.
Pilot seasons or things and stuff like that. So,
But even
but
so, even after this, she does get picked up for she got picked up for iZombie not too long after this. So like
yeah,
that was
because
5 seasons.
something like that. Yeah, because we're gonna see Whale in the next episode
Mhm.
because birth, and then do we see him at all in season 4? I don't think we do. And then he comes back in season 5, and at that point, rather than give him a wig or anything, they just let him be on the show with his platinum blonde hair, and they make a joke about it. And I'm like, could we have just not acknowledged it?
Yeah, just leave it be. He's just
Exactly.
going through a phase.
Not everything needs to be acknowledged. It's fine.
He plays such an interesting character though as Blaine. Like,
He does. He's really good at playing an asshole.
mhm.
Is there's some like it's just something about, like, some people are just drawn to play like those kind of villainous characters, but he's specifically like characters that have not a whole lot going for them besides being a dick.
Yeah. But then Rose, if that's her name, right?
Yes, Rose
But then you
McIver.
have Rose who does all she this is like the second time she's playing one of those roles where she gets to end up acting as other things all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Because with all the possessions and different things that happen in Ghost, she's still doing kind of what she did in iZombie and getting to play all these different characters in one. And I
Yeah,
just really love that for her. She's got just so much
so much
depth, like
range.
range. Thank you. That's the word. She has such a big range of what she's able to do, and it's so much fun watching her.
The amount of times I've watched the scenes from the Christmas episode when Nancy possesses Sam, I'm like,
Hmm.
I know it's an impression, but it's such a good impression.
She does amazing with it. It's insane. Like I thought it was her. Like I was like, no, this possession is real. Like that's how
Yeah.
well she did.
Yeah, like first I was like, they wouldn't just ADR this. That doesn't make any sense. And I'm like, no, that's just her doing it, which is funny because I found this out. I mean, sneak peek into what you'll hear in our special about Ghost
Yeah.
to probably get in May when the season's over. But apparently Rose was very concerned when they first started because a lot of the actors on the show are comedians. So like there's a lot of improv, and comedy is not her strong suit, is not her background. And she apparently was like very like nervous about being in that kind of space and whether she can kind of like go toe to toe with the improvers and stuff like that. But like I think she's done an amazing job. Like she's normally the straight person in the comedy,
Yeah.
but that's important, and I think she gets the moments in. Like, I mean, so much of the Christmas episode was our girl is dull, like, but she does it like you need that for a lot of the comedy to work. But when she gets her own moments, she does it so well.
She got her start here. No, not her start, but like still like her big TV show thing of being Tinkerbell before is
Mm-hmm.
just always going to be. I'm gonna miss her.
Yeah, This
Because
thing's
like
about
I'm only gonna get so much Ghost, and then I gotta start over with iZombie or something probably to get my
yeah.
fix.
Well, then you can watch the Christmas Prince movies. You can watch Eddie's Million
Oh
Dollar Cook
God,
Off.
I can watch that.
Yeah. That's at least a
I don't know
good
about
one
the
to watch.
Christmas movies.
The Christmas Prince movies are ones that my friends and I watch mainly because they're kind of terrible. Like you
We've
watch
been
them like
watching.
you watch terrible ones on purpose.
We started the Dear Santa movie last night, where Jack
Mm-hmm.
Black plays Satan.
Okay.
Um, we're really loving Jack Black in it. It's just it's almost one of those situations where you kind of watch something and you're like, did they just like tell Jack Black this is kind of what we need you to do and let him loose?
Probably.
Like that's how this movie comes off. Everybody else is kind of dull in their
Mm-hmm.
acting. And then like it is kids, but even the kids you're just kind of like the whole time like secondhand embarrassment. We haven't finished it yet because Steven
Mm-hmm.
started falling asleep, but like I'm enjoying just the fact that like Jack Black is running around being himself,
That's fair.
dressed as Satan.
He's fun that way.
Why do we watch these things?
I don't know. So
Why?
I have one more mini rant to go on about the curse and everything, but before we get to that, Katie, what did you rate this episode?
I gave it nines across the board.
Nice.
This is a 27. I really enjoyed this episode. I really am happy that I haven't been bored for weeks on end.
Yeah.
We had like that one episode that I was like, why are we doing all this?
Yeah, other than the tower, this arc is good. It's solid.
Very good. So no, this is going to be a really interesting end with all the analytics for this season. I'm really curious
Yeah, well, I told you
how this is going to look.
with my last round of analytics with the when I did it by myself with the other score, like this season is some really high highs and some really low lows, which averages out to being kind of meh. Like at the end of the day, like if you having 100 and 0, your average is still 50.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so curious
So
because I
it's
can't see it now, but
yeah, because well, right now the averages. I mean, you can already see what the averages are. Those won't calculate the averages will still calculate. It's just the
yeah.
only one that won't is the total score because that one has the zeros.
So yeah, I'm just really, oof. Three more.
We're almost there.
Three
Then
more.
we'll have more stats. I love stats. I do. That's why we have a
You
stats
do.
element.
That's how this is why we're here.
That's why this podcast is here. So I gave it a 10 for plot because it's everything we've been wanting to find out, and it's the breaking of the curse, and it's all of that. And then 9s for character and personal. So this one gets a 28. I'm only up 1 point from you.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I almost gave it 9s across the board. I'm like, no, this is enough plot. It deserves a 10. But with Regina being the one to break the curse, because so much of I feel like of this episode was, I mean, the point of getting them back to back to Storybrooke was to get Emma back because they felt that Emma was the only one that has the magic that can save them. It's a little bit of like hubris, like really, you think your daughter's the only one who has light magic? Like the blue fairy, that's what she uses is light magic. So the fact they're like, we need to get to Emma, she's the savior, she has light magic, and I'm like, she's not the only one that has light magic. We're going to hold off on that. But the fact that Regina is able to break the curse, that proves that there's light magic in her. So I would hold that also in the back of your mind for the next episode. But I like that it's Regina's kiss that breaks the curse this time rather than Emma's, because again, it goes back into the intent of magic. Emma was the intended savior the first time because it was literally written into the curse, or like it was the drop of true love was on the parchment. Like Emma was the intended savior. And the curse was cast with the intent to hurt Snow and Charming. So Emma being the one to break it makes perfect sense. This time, the curse was cast with the intent to stop Zelena, whose intended victim is Regina. So Regina being the one to break the curse and, breaking the memory wipe. I think that I said this with like also with the heart splitting thing. My thesis of this episode is this makes perfect sense. Like this is a lot of magical world building we're getting all at once, and the heart ripping in half is a new piece that we have to examine. But it all makes sense in the realm of how magic works, and this is also now we'll see each time the curse has been broken with parental love, not romantic love.
Ooh.
Because like I feel like whenever we see true love, it's always implied to be romantic love, but the curse specifically can only be broken with parental love.
That's interesting.
And you'll find out why in season 6. because
It's a little bit of ways.
it's a little bit of ways away. But this is because the thing is with Rumple constantly talking about how he created the curse. I mean, it's a little bit of they decided something later on in the show, so I mean, it's that kind of plot hole. But like looking at the whole context, it's a little bit of hubris on his part because we see that he did. We'll see actually in season 4 that he did not create the curse. He just found it. But he keeps saying he's the one that created the curse. It's a little bit of hubris just from him because he likes to tell people that he can do
Ooh.
this. So we'll find out more things about the Dark
Okay.
Curse over the next couple of seasons, specifically 4 and 6. But the fact that it can only be broken by parental love is both important and very powerful.
I can't binge this.
No, you can't. Well, season 4, because like we were talking before about the first half of the season dragging, and like for me, no other arc is like that. That's the only arc that is like, why am I still watching this? And to be fair, Neverland lost a lot of viewers.
That's what I'm seeing. Like I've seen because I still see some stuff.
Yeah.
I usually try to scroll quickly, but I have seen opinions before, especially on threads. Like I've had stuff pop up on threads before of people discussing things like this because our phones hear us.
They do.
We do this every week, and like if we were not doing this, I probably would have stopped watching during the Peter Pan storyline.
I believe that. I'm looking at the ratings out of curiosity. So the season 3 premiere had 8.52 million viewers.
Wow.
By the time we get to Going Home, it's dropped to 6.4.
2 million people had the same opinion as us of like why.
Yeah, like it went back up again in the second half because I think people were maybe hoping it'd get a little better to 6.6 for New York City Serenade. But between the mid-season finale and the season finale, they only gained about 400,000 viewers because the finale was viewed by 6.8 million people.
That's bad. If you've lost almost 2 million,
like throughout the course of your season, it's to be fair, every season they lose. Basically, like from season finale to season finale, they lose about 1 million people every year, give or take.
Yeah.
Like it's all the way through the show. By the end of season 6, they are all the way down to 2.93 million people. Like they lose so many people by the end of season 6. But
that's crazy.
But yeah, like it's losing viewership as the show goes on. Like I mean, some shows do have staying power. Once Upon a Time, I will say, it does feel repetitive after a while. And if you don't have reason to keep watching it, and this is just people that watch it, obviously as it like whatever the numbers are as it aired. Like the amount of times things have been viewed now based off of streaming, there's no way of knowing that because the streamers don't tell us things. But yeah, it's like losing viewers as the show goes on makes sense because the show, after a while, if you fall off, you fall off. And like not everyone can watch a show every week, and these ratings reflect only those who watched it live. Like the streamers don't give us any inclination. Like clearly there's still people watching the show.
That's crazy though. Oh my god. Like it makes me want to look at like some of the ones like The Walking Dead. Like when I stopped watching The Walking Dead, how many people did they lose to a certain death in the show? And I'm like, you're making me want to look more at analytics of other things, not just the 2 shows that we're doing. And I'm just like, Lauren, you have changed the way I view media. Why have you done this to me?
Yeah, my guess is looking at the viewership for season 6, there's a pretty significant drop at a certain point, and I'm wondering if that was when it was announced that Jen was leaving. Because there's a pretty like it's like a couple 100,000 here and there, and then like all of a sudden it just drops continually every week.
That's crazy.
And I'm thinking that was around when it was announced that Jennifer Morrison was leaving the show. That's just a guess, but it's also the right time because it was March of that year.
Thank you all for listening. Join us next time when we discuss Bob's Burgers Season 7, Episode 9, Bob Actually, and Episode 10, There's No Business Like Mr. Business Business. Don't forget to like, rate, and follow the podcast wherever you listen so you can be notified every time we publish a new episode. Follow us at OBDYK_pod on Instagram and TikTok. And if you'd like to join our Patreon, you can find the link with more details in our show notes.
This has been an episode of Okay, But Did You Know? A TV and media podcast. It was hosted by Lauren and Katie and edited by Lauren.